Want some alternatives to yelling? Do you find yourself raising your voice and screaming out and hollering at your students? Stick around because I'm bringing you 8 different things you can do besides yell at your students. We'll be right back. Let's amplify our effectiveness in this classroom. Let's increase our ability to reach our students. Do you ever find yourself just at the end of and you start yelling things like, okay, get quiet, quiet, get quiet, it's time, hey, hey, hey. Do you find yourself doing that very often? I hope not. I do know that I find myself doing that from time to time, and when I first started teaching, I did that kind of stuff all the time, raising my voice. Well, let me tell you, I can go weeks at a time now without ever raising my voice. Number one thing that I will tell you that I do most often that keeps me from yelling, that I do instead of yelling, is I take the opposite tone. I get really quiet like this and I say, okay, if you can't hear my voice and you are in danger of not doing well in my class, you need to listen very close, because the instructions I'm going to give you now, if they are not followed exactly how I give you these instructions, then you can expect to get a poor grade on this assignment. And then I proceed with the instructions that are necessary for either turning something in or finishing up an assignment. But I can do this at any noise level and the entire class will become quiet. It's a great method. I use it all the time. Number 2, repeat what you have to say over and over. The more times you say it, the more times it lands in their head. I promise you this is true. So when you say something like, you need to turn your work into the alpha split. You need to turn your work into the alpha split. Wait until I call for it. Wait until I call for it. You need to wait until I call for your work. Why are you turning that in? I told you to wait until I called for that. This is the kind of thing you need to do over and over. Raise your voice, don't scream, but repeat those things that you want your students to do and how you want them to do it. Number 3, be willing to discuss these things in your classroom. Be willing to have open discussion in your classroom. Be sure you have that built into your lessons as well, a time for discussion. You may even need to have a time for discussion about grading or about the assignment that's been turned in that people aren't happy with. Discussion is a good thing, but you need a specific time set aside. Always maintain a positive attitude. Positivity and be direct. Positivity and be direct. That's right. Always be upfront and excited that your students are turning things in on time, but be direct. Do not accept work that is less than their best. We've talked about that, about expectations earlier in this year. Don't compromise on your expectations. Be positive and be direct. Make your class fun. All of these things so far will help add to the fact that you won't have to yell. All of these things so far will keep you from having to raise your voice at times during your class. Raising your voice should not be necessary unless you're trying to maybe break up a fight or something along those lines, which hopefully will never happen in your classroom. And usually those kind of things do not happen in a classroom. If you are working on an intense assignment and teaching a new skill in which the students are really having to stretch their mind and work really hard to get their head around these new concepts, make a break. Take a break. Take a break in the middle, maybe run a Kahoot, maybe run something else, but take a break. Give the students a chance to chill for a second. If you let the students process what you've been teaching so far, you'll be surprised at how long those things will stay with them. You control the conversation. Remember that, and you'll cut back on your having to yell in class. It's your class, not their class. You need to make sure that you are the one who is leading the conversation. They are not leading you in conversation. And the number 8 thing is maintaining crowd control. Walk the room, walk around, stand next to other students. When you're excited about what you have to say and sharing those things that you're excited about, make sure that excitement gets spread through the classroom. Work the crowd. That's what I used to call it when I was a performer. Each time you're next to a student in a classroom, they feel like they're part of what's going on. It's the same way with performance. If I'm doing a performance and I can stand next to an audience member, whether they are helping me or not, they feel like they're part of that performance. It works the same way in a classroom with students. When you're standing next to a student and you're talking about something you're passionate about and you're sharing a new concept or skill, when you're next to that student, they're part of that. They know that the rest of the class is looking at them, and they're usually paying attention to you if you're sharing that passion. Those 8 things will help maintain your vocal cords and keep your voice from getting fuzzy. Remember, the louder you are, it doesn't make you more right, it doesn't make you more correct, and it doesn't make you a better leader. You don't have to yell to lead a classroom. I enjoy learning with you, I enjoy teaching with you, and together we can take over the world.